XRP holders, some exciting things are happening right now in the XRP ecosystem, specifically institutional DeFi and DeFi initiatives that are pretty much expanding the utility of XRP, building on top of XRP as well, providing value to holders like you and me. And this is a very exciting time. It's a very exciting time. It's a very exciting moment as well for the XRP ledger, because this is something that for the longest time, the XRP ledger lacked. Now, recently, we went over a few of the most recent announcements with amendments passing, things like that. You guys are probably already aware of that. I'm going to quickly go over those quick again, because, for a lot of you that missed out on those videos, I just really want to support the overall goal of this video, which is the fact that, we are starting to see some pretty big moves happen. Now, let's go back to just the institutional DeFi roadmap that recently dropped from Ripple. Now, this is from a Ripple employee, Reese Merrick. XRP is emerging as the backbone for real-world financial infrastructure. And yes, it is. XRP, for the longest time, we've talked about XRP being that massive backbone layer for this new financial system, essentially. That's becoming a reality. Take a look at the institutional DeFi roadmap below. It lays out exactly how the XRP ledger is evolving into a daily use layer for institutions, with XRP powering settlement, FX, collateral, and on-chain credit. The foundation is set. The next wave is already here. Let's go. Guys, this is a big statement. It's a very big statement, especially when we think about this coming from a Ripple employee. Now, to build on top of that, yes, this is regarding the recent DeFi roadmap for XRP. We talked about it. There's a lot of great things within it. There's still a lot of things that are, in progress. But a few things already passed, which we went over in previous videos, which is like, for example, the permission domains. Next up is the permission DEX, which did achieve validator consensus. That will be activated in 2 weeks. We'll also talk about that. But the main thing that we're looking at this, in terms of like, what is it going to do for XRP? This enables the institutional stack on the XRP Ledger mainnet, which means institutional players can now tap into the XRP Ledger mainnet on-chain publicly and utilize it for specific use cases. Those use cases include, and let's go back to this post, settlement, FX, collateral, and on-chain credit. These are some very large use cases. Now, next up is the permission DEX. Big shout out to vet_x0. XRP Ledger Permission DEX is now in activation too. 28 yes votes. We are cruising. With this amendment enabled in 2 weeks, we have a fully compliance-enabled DEX allowing to facilitate institutional transactions on XRP. Major milestone, folks. Major. And this is the issue right now. A lot of people will think that this does not matter. We're about roughly 11 days out from this being activated. A lot of people will say that this is, a big nothing event. Oh, forget about it. Who cares about it? Just another amendment. The main thing about this permission DEX is what it enables on the XRP ledger. Like, if we're really thinking about why XRP is not this extremely valuable digital asset and why institutional adoption has done like pretty much nothing for the price action, that's because a lot of the key pieces to enable those use cases at scale to affect the underlying value of XRP, those things were simply not in place. Like, imagine trying to, build something or use something without having the right tools or, the right, just in general, like the factors here, right? The factors at play are the fact that XRP, although yes, it was built for institutional use, tokenization, transactions, things like that, it didn't have the right tools built within it. Because again, the features here are so crucial. For an institutional player, you need to have, the compliance tools, you need to have, the risk management tools built in, and then you also need other things like the permission DEX. So imagine trying to build something, use something without having the right tools or the features. Now, the XRP ledger has no excuses. Once these things are fully enabled, once this full roadmap is in place, nothing is holding XRP back. Nothing. Which this is why this is a major milestone. It's a significant milestone. It's something that we have been waiting for a very long time. Now, Why am I bringing up all of this stuff? Well, let's go back in time to February of 2024, where Hex Trust announced that they were enhancing their offerings with the XRP Ledger integration. Now, you might not know who Hex Trust is or why this is even very important, but the idea here on why they tapped into the XRP Ledger was because they will essentially offer access to the native digital asset of the XRP Ledger, which is XRP, other fungible tokens through the enablement of the Trustline functionality, support for NFTs by integrating the XLS20 token standard, the ability to make partial payments and integrate raw transactions. Now, when we think about Hex Trust, we also know that they did partner up with Ripple back in 2025 as well. Now, prior to this, if we go all the way back down here, we have down here that additionally Hex Trust actively participated in the Ripple and Medico HK Policy Summit in October of 2023, where engaging discussions took place among stakeholders within the virtual asset industry. And yeah, they were a big player in the Hong Kong Monetary Authority's EHKD pilot programs regarding tokenization and even settlement of tokenized assets. They were definitely a big player, and they, established that relationship with Ripple back then in 2023. So the fact that they are now just getting behind the XRP Ledger is definitely a big one. Obviously, it was a little bit late, but still, it's the fact that they saw the value of the XRP Ledger. They saw what is, pretty much capable of being done with the XRP Ledger, which is why they tapped into it. And then, yes, going back to December, just recently, December 12th, 2025, Hex Trust to issue and custody wrapped XRP, expanding XRP's DeFi utility across multiple blockchains. This is where we started to see the big picture unfold, which is the fact that DeFi is about to expand rapidly on the XRP Ledger. Now, you might be wondering, who is Hex Trust? Well, if we go over here, Hex Trust is a fully licensed and regulated financial institution for digital assets. We offer a full suite of market services, OTC trading, custody, staking, and investment solutions to builders, investors, and service providers. They have a global presence with offices in Singapore, Hong Kong, Dubai, Italy, and Vietnam. And their mission and vision is to unlock ownership in decentralized markets with a vision to secure the permissionless future. So this is definitely a big name. They've been around for a while. They have a massive stack of investors, as you guys can see here. Ripple is one of their key investors as well. Beyond that, they definitely do have a lot of other investors too. But also, let's go over here to their institutional side. They are fully focused on institutional adoption of digital assets and DeFi itself, which is why I do think that the integration with XRP is definitely a big focus, because again, they are essentially creating an institutional stack as well. Now, I bring up Hex Trust because we've been talking a lot about Flare. Now, recently, on February 4th, Flare did announce that there was 95 million FXRP minted on Flare. This is 95 million XRP essentially, because this is XRP as a F asset essentially. This is worth about $144 million. The milestone signals consistent adoption as more XRP holders move their assets into DeFi rails. With steady and compounding growth, more integrations will keep lending as XRP Fi, will keep landing as XRP Fi continues to expand. Now, if we go over here to the Flare network website under the XRP Fi side, we could see that this 95.14 million is now 95.5 million. The DeFi TVL side is about 79 million XRP. We could see all of the XRP opportunities here, and you could also calculate the rewards from all of these as well. It's very exciting. There is a massive stack here with Flare. Flare created all of this. It's very bullish to see all of this come together, and it's also very bullish to see how much demand there is for these XRP Fi opportunities. And we've been talking about a lot of them, like Doppler as well. They've been expanding rapidly, but also Flare has been building out a massive stack. Even more recently, we know from Generation Infinity, modular XRP lending goes live on Flare. Morpho, 10 billion plus in TVL, deployed on Flare networks via Mystic Finance. FXRP now works as collateral in permissionless lending markets. The DeFi infrastructure everyone said XRP was missing, it's shipping. And yes, it was missing for the longest time. That's why this is such a big moment for XRP. That's why even when we go back to a lot of these amendments that the XRP ledger were also missing, like these are key tools, key, features. Yeah, it's all becoming a reality now. I'm very excited about all of this. Now, if you wanted to look at, some of these big names and what they're doing, you could actually focus on, just how much TVL there is. Mystic right now has about 1.85 million in TVL. Now, I do believe that this is going to grow significantly, especially as we do start to see more deployments and more expansions happening on some of these major, platforms. And they're not exactly like platforms. I look at them more as like vaults, essentially, because you can see like what ones are, offering what. Like, for an example, this is a vault, this is a vault, this is lending and borrowing. You also have the DEX down here, yield trading, DEX, perps, leverage. This is another vault. Mystic is a vault. Ignite is a prediction market, essentially, where you could predict with FXRP. Then we also have the Hyperliquid integration as well. This is another DEX, but you can see exactly what is being offered here. It's a full DeFi stack, essentially, which is crazy bullish for the future of XRP and the DeFi around it. But I'm bringing up HexTrust because we just got another big update, which is HexTrust partnered up with Flare Networks to offer institutional custodial access to XRP DeFi, letting clients mint FXRP and stake Flare while keeping assets under custody. This is a huge announcement because, again, this is building on top of something that is already clearly working with a name that is also a very, very close name to the XRP ecosystem and even close to Ripple as well. But we have the full-on announcement over here from February 5th. HexTrust and Flare launched secure institutional access to FXRP minting and Flare staking. So HexTrust, a leading financial service provider for digital assets, has expanded its long-standing partnership with Flare, the blockchain for data, through a new strategic collaboration. Under the agreement, Hex will work with Flare to deliver institutional access to native Flare staking and FXRP, a non-custodial one-to-one representation of XRP on Flare minting. The partnership establishes HexTrust as a primary institutional gateway to the Flare ecosystem, providing a standardized and secure interface for clients to interact with Flare assets. The integration, which is now live for HexTrust's institutional clients, like I said, that institutional stack that we just went over, that's why this is very important. It supports the minting and redemption of FXRP and native Flare staking activities, which form the bedrock of economic activity on Flare. Flare provides the underlying protocol infrastructure, while HexTrust delivers the custody, governance, and compliance layer required by institutional clients. This is very, very bullish. We have down here a few quotes. This is from the CPO and head of custody at HexTrust. The expansion of token wrapping to assets like XRP and Bitcoin marks a significant shift in market structure, transforming static holdings into productive liquid collateral for the digital economy. By providing an enterprise-grade gateway for FXRP minting, we are enabling institutional capital to directly enhance the liquidity and depth of the Flare ecosystem. This move bridges the gap between traditionally siloed assets and smart contract utility, allowing institutions to contribute to network security and decentralized money markets within a governed high-standard framework. And then Hugo from Flare said that Flare was built to expand the utility of digital assets, starting with XRP, which doesn't possess native smart contract capabilities just yet. It's still being worked on. Working with HexTrust will empower institutions to put their assets to work without compromising on the security and compliance frameworks by which they're bound. This will remove the friction that's kept institutional capital on the sidelines and serve as a catalyst for even greater on-chain activity across the Flare ecosystem. So yeah, I think that this is a huge move. Again, there's been so many big DeFi initiatives on the XRP ledger. Like, this is definitely one of them. Flare's killing the game right now with HexTrust now. On top of that, we are starting to see all of the features being added, all of the major tools as well that's needed for institutional adoption. Then you have Doppler Finance. You have all of these major initiatives around DeFi happening. You also have, players like VS1, which, we're still waiting on them fully launching. This is an institutional grade RWA tokenization and yield platform built on the XRP ledger. They announced back in September of last year that they were building this. This is a massive name, over 250,000 plus followers. This is what their website looks like. They are essentially building out an institutional grade RWA tokenization and yield platform where you have a complete institutional DeFi stack. So this is definitely a big one. I'm watching this closely. I think that a lot of these, initiatives that are happening right now are kind of going overlooked right now. I think that it's crazy because, again, although price action is down and the market looks rough, we're starting to see fundamentals around XRP expanding rapidly and going parabolic, essentially. This will lead to price action. I've always said it's all pressure behind the scenes of, positive or even negative price action. This will lead to XRP expanding in a big way in terms of its actual value as well. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video.